is the Opie and Anthony Show.
We got Mr. Shatner outside the studio.
Bill Shatner. Get him in here immediately. Oh, my God. Wait, here it is.
Welcome back to the show.
So good.
There you go.
I'm aboard.
Captain on the bridge.
How are you, everybody?
Captain on the bridge.
How nice to see everybody.
Mr. Shatner, hello.
Bill.
Or Bill, as I like to call him.
How
are you?
Bill,
Good to see you.
my good friend
What's
Bill
going on,
Shatner.
Bill?
Morning.
Back on the Opie and Anthony Show. Wow, we were looking at your new album.
Yeah.
I like this.
Oh, I hope you do.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it's out there. It's progressive rock. It's a whole new area that I wrote the words. Billy Sherwood wrote the music.
Yes.
And he's done a genius job in interweaving music and words and then these great musicians who've done solo numbers on it.
How does this get started? Like, how do you find something like this, a project like this to do?
Well, the label says to me, "Would you like to do another album?" And I said, "Yeah." And they said, "What would you do?" And I said, "I just flashed on an impulse. I guess it's something creative." And I said, "I'll write about a guy sitting on a beach in despair, an hour before sunset, and then the sun sets, and through the beauty of the night, he regains his joy of life." That one line was merely the way I hooked songs together. Now that you know, you might recognize it as a progression, but you wouldn't have to know that to listen to the album and hear the song.
So it's a story.
Well, for me, it's a story, but not necessarily. You know, the order of the songs. I placed the order of the songs so that it made that kind of sense that the opening number, "Where's it gone? Give it back. I'm missing something. Give it back." Lurches into a song of unhappiness, and then gradually he begins to find, and then he questions time. Where does time go when time comes to an end? And they're all melodic, and it's all music, but it's progressive rock, so it's pushing some sort of musical envelope.
Pushing the boundaries.
And what do you think? Somebody maybe might be able to partake a little weed and listen to this. And
I think weed would be nice. Weed is always nice.
Maybe pop some mollies. Pop mollies.
Tequila.
Wow, yeah, whatever name your poison, as they say.
Do you indulge? Do you smoke?
No. I mean, no. But one should take the opportunity to enjoy oneself because you only come by once.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Look how well dressed Bill is.
Bill always comes in here looking great.
Is that why?
To do, yeah. So I thought I'd wear the black suit. It's slimming.
You got like a Johnny Cash thing happening.
Yeah, right.
now.
I'm doing my Johnny Cash.
Oh,
thing.
wow.
That's very nice.
Yeah, I'm going to the prison.
Folsom Prison and
right,
sing a few songs.
Right.
You might as well.
About weed.
I have a question. Did you really turn down Richard Branson? He offered you the flight to go up in the new craft, and you said no?
Well, he said to me, this is maybe even a couple of years. He said, I'm going up. Would you like to go up in the airplane? I said, yeah, it sounds like it. He said, it's great. It'll cost you $250,000.
He wanted you to pay.
Right. So I said, oh, you want me to pay?
That's crazy.
No. I said, I'll go and you pay me $250,000.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That would help the business to have Shatner on that.
So
Of course it would.
I never heard from him again.
Good for you, Bill. I was going to say Mr. Shatner.
Our sheet says that you didn't go because you were scared of airline travel.
Yeah, right. I'm a private pilot. I have 7 hours in helicopter. I'm learning to fly a helicopter.
And he's afraid of flying. I think he's watching too much Twilight Zone.
Paramotoring. I'm into paramotoring, which is
paramotoring. Wow,
so
that's
you
cool.
strap a 75-pound engine on your back, run like hell. You have to run. So you need a prevailing breeze because you got to get to about 13 miles per hour to get flying speed, and you got a kite that you're holding onto, and you run like hell, usually on a beach because that's where the prevailing breeze is. And you fly about 25 miles an hour, and now you're up in the air with a kite.
That's crazy.
Wait, you actually do this?
Yeah, I've done it many times.
How high do you go?
Well, there have been some people who got caught in an updraft in a thunderstorm and died of hypothermia. They may have gone as far as high as 30,000 feet. With some of those hammerheads, storm can get that high.
Yeah, they'll just blast you right up.
I fly gliders as well, and this instructor took me up one time in a thunderstorm, and we were angled, pointing straight down and going up.
And still going up.
Come on.
How scary is that?
That's scary.
Aren't gliders pretty scary in general?
No.
They seem like it.
Well, you have to stick around the landing field. You have to land. But you have a means of killing the flight by spoilers on the top of the wing. So you can stop flying whenever you want. So if you come in for a landing and you're sort of like overshooting and you can't go back, there isn't an engine, you pull those flaps in effect.
You lose lift.
And you lose lift almost right away.
Wow.
So the thunderstorms, how hot, like you're going at 100, 200 feet and then the thunderstorm can just suck you up?
Well, yeah, probably not that low, but you get towed to 1,200, 1,500, a couple of thousand feet. You get towed up, you release, and then you play around in the thermals. Thermals are columns of air that heat up like a plowed field will radiate heat more than a green field. So now there's hot air rising, and in that rising air, and you look for the rising air, either birds or clouds indicate there's rising air, and you have an instrument on your panel that tells you that you're rising or falling. And and one time, a long time ago, when I was circling in a thermal, a hawk got in the same thermal, and we were circling each other, big red hawk and me, and he was looking at me, and I was looking at him. It was the most
That's pretty
moment.
cool. Yeah.
Did you write a song about that?
Yeah,
the new
that sounds
album?
like a song.
That's a song
I
from.
should have, huh?
I think so.
I need to do another album.
Yes,
Yeah.
you can call it Chasing the Hawk, or is he chasing me?
Very profound, Jimmy.
So profound.
That
Jimmy.
is.
How big is the circle you're making in these?
Well, it depends on the size of the thermal.
Wow.
Sometimes thermals can be quite large. Sometimes they're 6, 10 feet across. It just depends.
Wow,
getting sucked up
man.
backwards. What did you finally do when you're getting sucked up? How did you guys get down?
Well, you fly out of it, and then you descend, and that's how gliders do distances. There, you can get a pin. I think it's 750 miles, or you can do 700. So you're rising, going a distance, find another thermal, rise, do another distance, and people fly for forever like that. The limit is how long you can stay awake. There is another type of flying. I've forgotten the term now, but when the wind blows, like in Hawaii, constantly, like the trade wind, and it hits a cliff and bounces up, it's like water. So you aim your glider into the rising air at a angle that is just enough to stop you from going forward or backward, and you're continually in the air because that wind is continuous.
Just kind of floating.
And you're just floating.
Wow.
And I think the limit is like 50-something. It was when I was aware. It was like 2 days, and then the guy just...
Sitting in one place.
Sitting in one place. He couldn't stay awake any longer.
That's amazing.
That's pretty cool.
And how long have you been a private pilot?
Oh, a long time.
Long time?
I was doing something, theater thing in Miami in the Point Siena Playhouse in Palm Beach, and there's an airfield next door, and I had always wanted to take lessons. So during the day when I wasn't working at night, I was taking lessons. So I soloed there and went on to fly in Santa Monica and places.
Wow.
I even got checked out in a biplane in a Pitt Special. It's an aerobatics plane.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
got checked out on an aerobatics plane. I did did loops and
You did, yeah.
Cuban rolls. And,
Oh my God.
yeah, it was incredible. Yeah,
You're quite the little daredevil there, aren't you?
I'm not afraid to fly, but I just didn't want to be charged that kind of money.
Yeah, 250 large to.
But I was in the desert, the Mojave Desert, when that airplane, technology was being tried out, and they got into space 100,000 feet.
Yeah.
They won a prize. They won $10 million. I've forgotten what the name of the competition was, but that design won $10 million because they were the first ones in space using chopped up rubber and nitric oxide, I think. instead of oxygen and nitrogen and all these as a fuel, they were using chopped up rubber tires and a gas you can get in your dentist's.
Yeah, like a solid rocket booster they had instead of liquid oxygen. Yeah. I guess anything mixed with enough oxygen will burn. So rubber seems to be a good rocket fuel.
I guess it was what the technology is. I don't know, but but they just blew it out the back end and.
Maybe if you had a few tires over there on the Enterprise, Scotty wouldn't have been up Schitt's Creek so many times, you know? You go, Scotty, get me out of here. Chop up some tires. I'm chopping tires as fast as I can. You know? Who would think such an archaic way of... My God, Bill.
What's the height you got to get to be considered breaking the atmosphere?
I think it's 100,000 feet.
Oh, okay.
Wow. 100, yeah.
Did you watch the jump? The Red Bull jump?
I did.
Oh, how insane was that?
Well, it wasn't insane because he was very careful.
He knew what he was doing.
He knew what he was doing.
Well, just as a regular person, I see that as insane. Is what I'm getting at, Bill.
It's insane only as so far as you and I are concerned.
Right.
But he
knew what he was doing.
He's a stuntman. He calculated his chances, and look how famous he became. So, as a means of making a living, as being famous for more than the 15 minutes.
Right. When he opened that door and move forward and get ready to jump.
My understanding is that he thought, what am I doing? He's looking down, you know.
The one thing...
And he gets 800 miles an hour.
Yeah. He broke sound, right? He broke the speed of sound.
He broke gas, too.
I'm sure he did. When you look at that view when he opened the door, the thing that has to go through your mind is, it looks like I could miss the planet. Like you could just, if you jump to the side a little too much.
Imagine if you jumped and just started floating. You'd be like, fuck.
What about those guys who wear those wing suits?
Yeah, the wing suits.
And fly through holes in the ground.
I've seen those guys, and they fly next to mountains.
Well, next to mountains, but there's a guy who went through
I know which one you're talking about. It was
really
a couple weeks ago. He aimed and went through a hole
6 feet in diameter.
Yeah, come on.
It's an unbelievable
He's going
video.
hundreds of miles an hour.
Wow.
And he has to calculate. He's got to get his body together, and he went right through it.
Slipped through this thing like a needle.
That's crazy.
Threading a needle.
Some little hole in a rock formation. Yeah.
Do they jump off the cliff or do they got out of an aircraft?
He jumped off a cliff in this case, I believe, but they do jump out of aircraft.
I've seen those guys jump off the cliff, and then they, instead of going away from the cliff, they go right next to it.
Right, and they've
they
got
have the
a
helmet
head camera.
cameras, and it's an amazing view. But you think, wow, you could really
see the ones that are
there.
10 feet off the ground, and they got their buddies filming them, and they go fucking doing a flyby right over his head
with the wings, right?
Yeah, they're crazy.
Yeah, but they must know
they have
with their experience. It surely must take a lot of strength to keep your arms spread out at 100 miles an hour.
You would think that, right?
I mean, if you tried it in a car.
Yeah. And then to have a web on your hands like that would really be pushing your arms back. Exactly. I think you'd have to be in pretty good shape.
And you know if you close them, you plummet. I guess that's a motivator. The only thing keeping me alive. Arms out.
Did you see Gravity, the movie?
No, I haven't seen it yet. I hear it's wonderful.
I liked it a lot, and not so much.
I thought it was okay. I thought the effects are amazing. They've come so far with technology and how space looks and how they portray weightlessness and whatnot in movies now. It amazes me how they do that. Not that it was ever bad when you were up there.
I was dangling from a cable, and you could see the cable and see me turning slowly in the wind.
I do remember once you were outside the ship, of course, and you're floating, and you kept disappearing. I think that was the one with the Tholian web, I think. Right. It was the Tholian web. And you were in that funny spacesuit. It kind of didn't really look like a spacesuit. Right. It looked like I remember the carpet waffle padding.
The trouble we had was lighting the face. How do you get light on the face? So they had like a light bulb somewhere buried. Turn the switch on.
You got to see Shatner's face. Turn on the light bulb. Oh, yeah, and floating around there. And I assumed it was by cables or sometimes maybe even I think your hands are just up and you were on the floor doing this.
That's
and then
funny.
they just kind of cut your feet off in the shot.
I don't remember, but probably. Maybe I want to forget.
I don't think you could ever forget that. Oh, my God.
This, for just to come back for a second, this album is
well, of course.
Is progressive rock.
Yeah.
And progressive rock, I've come to think of as the science fiction of music. It's pushing the boundaries. It's opening up areas that may not have been there before. In this case, Billy Sherwood, who is a progressive rock genius.
Yeah, from Yes.
And by the way, Tony Kaye and Scott Connor and Ricky Tierney form a group called Circa, and I am going to be doing the album with Circa in 3 venues in the Los Angeles area. Canoga Park, the Canyon Club is one of them, and 23rd, 24th, and 25th of this month of October, I'll be in the Los Angeles area performing this album with these wonderful musicians with the idea of seeing how good we are, whether we're good enough to go on and tour and maybe play places like Vegas.
That's amazing. Yeah. Oh, I would like to see that. Absolutely.
I'm having such a journey with this album and this music video, which is on YouTube. Shot the music video, on a shoestring and then making the album and now performing the album in front of public. The public is a musical journey I've never been on before. There is such a mystery in music. There is, to the people who aren't or haven't studied or aren't acquainted, like somebody was saying, finding one. Do you know what that means?
No.
And here you are, you play records all the time. And nor did I. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, right? So you got to find one. The drummer has to find one, and the bass guitarist has to find one, and that rhythm. How do you know when to come in? How do you know after a long solo do you come in?
That is true. It's almost this instinctive thing you kind of feel.
It isn't. Well, yeah, but what if you don't feel good that night?
Well, that's true.
You don't come in?
Then you get jazz.
You got to come in.
You got to come in.
The guy finishes, you got to start. How do you know when to start? It's mysterious, I'm telling you. You need all kinds of help. So that mystery, not only the mystery of when to come in.
The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few or the one.
That's right.
Right.
The needs of the one outweigh the needs of the 4 or the count of 7. They even have, in this record, they have a count of 7.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3.
Wow, that's not even an even number.
That's exactly. It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
So this mystery of rhythm is one. The other mystery for me is I saw Yo-Yo Ma play his cello at with the Los Angeles Philharmonic a couple of weeks ago. Have you ever seen him?
No, I had a friend. He hit his head
That's too
once,
highbrow for us.
and he couldn't say anything but Yo-Yo Ma. He kept just blurting it out. Yo-Yo Ma. He got his head kicked by some guy.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, some guy kicked him in the head,
and he kept saying Yo-Yo Ma.
And he said Yo-Yo Ma. I don't know why.
What is that?
I don't know. It's some kind of a brain thing, I guess.
No, he wouldn't have said no mas.
No, it was Yo-Yo Ma. Weird.
Yo-Yo mas.
No.
Well, anyway, Yo-Yo Ma is the great cellist, right? So I watched him play, and the cello in his hand and the bow in his other hand, it was like an extension, not only just his body, but of his soul. He played the music. He was alive in the music. And the mystery of, in this case, the cello, the catgut and a horsehair, and this gorgeous sound emerges. We're the only animal that does that. There are other animals that sing and make music with their voice, but who makes a tool to make music, which on the surface of it should be screeching?
It just sounds like it would be ridiculous. Right? We'll take a horsehair and
exactly.
Yeah.
And if you don't play it right, it is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like my grandchild playing the violin, my grandchild got violin lessons. She's never really heard a violin. One day she heard the violin and she said, "Oh, that's what it's supposed to sound like."
And it really is odd that you could teach someone, no matter how much they practice and how much you teach them, they just can't be as good as somebody who has a natural talent for it. So there's just this natural ability.
I wonder about that.
Taught.
Is it a natural ability? Is it somebody? Is it a child who lets, or I guess an adult who lets themselves be totally open to the experience, so that they go with the experience rather than saying, "Ooh, I'm not good," and get self-conscious and restricts themselves, no matter what the skill is.
Maybe that's it. Yeah. But that's more. It is kind of a difference between something mathematical and something spiritual. Is it something that could be looked at in an equation, or is it a more spiritual flowing thing?
So that mystery of the music is the journey I'm on now. Discovering I'm into the words, but Billy Sherwood composing the music and knitting music and words together.
It's like an undiscovered country.
Yeah. Was the best of all those movies.
I liked that one. I did. I liked them all.
What do you listen to? What do you listen to? What kind of music?
Well, I'm probably a jazz enthusiast.
Oh, you like jazz?
Yeah.
And hates jazz.
I don't like jazz. I want to like jazz.
Yeah, you can't hate jazz.
He hates it.
I don't hate it, but I can't.
No, you can't.
This guy hates it.
Jazz. You can't. No, you're not listening to music that pleases you. Jazz takes so many forms. You can't hate jazz. Jazz could be the blues. I mean, jazz.
I know
he doesn't like the blues either.
Jazz to me.
You can't hate the blues.
He hates the blues.
He likes disco.
Well, jazz is upbeat.
I don't like disco.
Yeah.
He loves guns though.
Yeah.
So
I don't like disco.
It begins and ends with Donna Summer.
No,
To him.
I don't like it when it sounds like everybody in the band is playing something completely different. It sounds very self-indulgent.
All right, so listen, on one of the cuts, Al Di Meola, the great jazz guitarist, is on my record.
Ooh.
Al Di Meola is playing on my album, Pond of the Mystery. He plays a lick on one of the songs. It's fantastic. Steve Vai.
Oh, right, yeah.
Playing guitar in the opening number makes me weep with the wrenching feeling of his electric guitar.
which one is he on?
He's on the first one.
Where It's Gone?
Where It's Gone.
Is that the one we should play today?
Play that. Play that. It's
when we're done here, we're going to do that for you.
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I was watching Columbo the other night.
Yeah.
And there was Dr. Janice Lester and T'Pring, the Vulcan bride, on the same episode.
That's impossible.
I've
never seen them together.
I've never seen them together either, but there it was. I'm like, this is like a Star Trek cavalcade I'm watching on Columbo. You were in a Columbo, too.
I was in more than one.
More than one, yeah. Those were great shows. The only bad thing about it, you missed the first 5 minutes, you might as well not watch the show.
The difficulty with that show, and the problem for writing for it was, you, the audience, knew who did it, and you had to watch with fascination, while the character in the movie
figures it out,
knows what you already know,
right?
And that was the difficulty in writing.
They
for
pulled it off, though.
Oh yeah,
it works. It's a fun show to watch. Great characters, and then you just see people from from old episodes of Bonanza and Star
everybody
Trek
wanted to do it. It was an hour and a half. It paid well, and it was well written, so you wanted to be on that show.
Some really good directors too. Where you'd watch the credits and see like
everybody
tried
Spielberg
did some of that.
Spielberg started off at Universal doing little
They did
films.
that movie Duel with
Peter.
It was McLeod who played McLeod. That guy.
Yeah. The guy with the limp.
The guy with the limp and the little Dennis Weaver. Thank you, sir. And he directed Duel.
Right. And Peter Matheson wrote it.
Yeah.
And these were all great names of people just starting their career.
At the time, That Night Gallery was another show, Rod Serling's Night Gallery. There was a lot of young at the time directors that were doing that.
I actually wanted to ask about Rod Serling because we kind of have a fascination with him here. What was he like to be around?
Well, I wish I could say that he was a mentor to everybody. I was, as you were asking me, I thought, well, would I make up he was a child molester? That won't go well.
Yay!
No, I better not. His widow will sue me. What you're asking is, I, as a young actor, just sort of beginning and knocking on doors, what did I think of the producer who was up in the building, and up in the offices I never got to? But in this case, I had worked with him and a group of the people that he took with him from live television to film when he was doing Twilight Zone. So I had worked with Rod in live television. In the latter part of the live television days, I came from Canada, and I did Playhouse 90 and all those hour shows that were famous at the time. And he and a host of people whose names you would recognize from movies were there beginning their careers, just like you're saying now about these early film stuff. They were burgeoning. So I did get to know him a little bit. A cool guy, short in stature, enormous talent, creative talent as a writer. And he did mentor a lot of people.
How long did it take you to film that famous episode, the Man on the Wing episode?
They were all 3, 4, 5 days, maybe.
Yeah, that and being a pilot, you know, you'd know what the stupid little furry guy could do out there.
Being afraid of flying, according to our list.
I don't know where those things come from, but it's insane. It makes you think how all the stuff we want to believe, you know, so-and-so was sleeping with so-and-so. Oh, yeah. But
yeah.
It's, you know, it's so much of it's made up. I don't know where they get it from.
Yeah, I know.
Like afraid of flying. I mean,
if they do a little research, they could tell that you're a
figure
pilot.
that one out.
right.
Hey, did the little man, who was the little man in the costume on the wing? Did you get to know him at all?
He's a Czechoslovakian acrobat.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in a little furry suit that was ridiculous. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Standing, you know, you'd think they'd give him wings or some streamlining or something.
Yeah.
He was a little panda bear on the edge of a wing trying to.
And when he flew off, they just kind of pulled him up and out of frame.
Exactly. And like you were saying, our special effects were so bad, which tells you that the audience is willing to suspend disbelief on anything if the story is good enough.
Right. The biggest thing, problem I had with the episode was just tell the wife, who's so concerned with her husband at the time because he had this nervous breakdown, look, sit here and look out the window the whole flight. Just stay there, don't move. There, problem solved. Either she sees it or it never shows up again and he's fine.
Yeah, but she was so tired she had to sleep.
Oh, she'd had it with you.
She had to sleep. She had narcolepsy or something.
And it really shows how far we've gone because the sky marshal or whatever he was, the cop that was on board the plane, he's asleep with his gun just hanging out in the aisle. What a
and yet
iconic episode.
Right. Why?
Yeah. Why?
What is the answer to why?
I think the story hits home with a fear of flying, a fear of the unknown. It didn't matter that the effects weren't that good, and
a fear of not being heard, seeing something that's wrong and saying it, and nobody believing you were listening to you.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So you must have had a lot of that in your life.
I have it every day of my life, actually, continually. I tell a woman, I'm perfect for you, and she just doesn't hear me.
My favorite scene in that whole episode is when the co-pilot, I guess, comes out and he's talking to you, and you say, "There's a man out there," and he goes, "We know. We've seen," and he goes, and you go, oh, you've seen it yet? Oh, okay. Like you're all thrilled that he finally saw it, and then you realize, oh, he's bullshitting me.
Hey, I've never thought of that, but you're absolutely right. I bet it's.
I told him that.
No, you didn't. He said it was about a fear of hairy men on wings. I'm like, you're an idiot. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, God.
Yeah, maybe it's seeing something that no one else sees. Because Sterling had that weird, because we saw
not being heard. How many children? That's got to be such a basic impulse. You don't think about that, but children at a table who say, "I got, let me," and the adults are all talking,
just not even
and nobody's listening to them, and that rage and frustration of not being heard has got to be something we carry with us for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, well, look at that.
Yeah, that's what I do. I just analyze. How about would you talk to the little Czechoslovakian guy like I'm fascinated with that guy. You would talk to him at like craft services or
the primitiveness of the technology didn't occur to me then.
Yeah.
Looking at it now, I don't know why I didn't think This is so idiotic. I'm embarrassed to be in this.
That's how I feel every day here.
But then you just have to look around.
They're saying we got to wrap up.
Oh, God.
Bill, they're saying you got to go. You got TV
Bill's
to do.
very busy today.
I got a day. I'm promoting Ponder the Mystery.
Yes.
But this is really worth promoting. It's a terrific album. It's gotten great reviews, by the way.
Make a good Christmas gift, Bill?
A great Christmas
Very
gift.
good.
It's a meaningful album. It means you really love the person you're giving it to.
And
Absolutely.
you look damn good on the cover there.
I
Sam.
know.
Hey, pretty good, huh?
Looking
Yeah,
all
there
right,
is
man.
a very
Look at
regal kind of
With the sun behind him, shining through him, basically.
captain look, or perhaps even the admiral. Admiral! Oh, was he mad that you were an admiral? Boy, was Khan pissed. Sorry, Bill.
That's okay.
I love the damn show. What can I say?
Why don't we play a track?
What
why,
song would
why
you
don't you
recommend?
Why don't you sign this and we'll give it away? That'd be cool
man.
too, right?
Give me
Yeah.
a-
That's huge.
Yeah, let's do that. But we're going to play Where It's Gone, I Don't Know.
Good.
From Ponder the Mystery, William Shatner's new album. Doing a little progressive rock here.
Like it.
The great Bill Shatner.
Thank you.
All right, well, that sucked. To hear the Opie and Anthony Show 5 days a week live on satellite radio, online on your phone or tablet, or even on demand, go to SiriusXM.com. Also, interact with the Opie and Anthony Show on Twitter, @Opie Radio, @Anthony Cumia, and @Jim Norton.